Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Game Show Roundtable. Tonight, we are talking about the weakest link. Anne is not here to roast us because we are not roasting her. That came out wrong, but yeah, say I am. It is Game Bouncer, and I am here with my guest, Steven.
Hello. I had been on before, once, months ago.
Yeah,
We're
you were
making a
on last
comeback, and
time.
we're actually going to do it this time.
Yeah, we were on last time to talk about Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And this time, we are here to talk about the weakest link. Slee, it is a It's a difficult game. It is a rough game. It's a brutal game. But let's get started. I would say the reason I like the weakest link is I like the progression, I think, throughout watching the game unfold. It's just rapid fire trivia, which I think helps it. But I also think what helps it is through the rounds, you get to see the same people answer the trivia. So it's sort of like you get to see who's really the best, who's not as good, maybe, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. Do you have any
Yeah.
thoughts? Start off?
Should we get through? Let's get through the rules and we kind of explain.
Yeah, I think that'd be
Explain
good.
that. I think it. So it has the same rules spiel. We won't go through it exactly. I feel like because it would just be, it's a little difficult to understand without kind of seeing it. But here's how it generally goes. We'll go with the primetime US version because
Yeah.
the rules slightly differ.
Yeah.
There's 8 contestants, and in each round, the first round, they get 2.5 minutes. It goes down by 10 seconds each round. They have to answer a chain of 8 correct they give it a chain of 8 correct answers. Each answer they get moves them up the money ladder called the chain. Each step on the chain is worth progressively more. So the first question is worth $1,000. In the original, the second question is worth $2,500, then 5, then 10,000. So the money, the increases in the jumps were higher as the chain up to the top value of 125,000. If they get a question wrong, they break the chain and lose all the money in the chain. But if a contestant banks before hearing a question, the money is safe, but they have to start a brand new chain. Only money that's been banked goes through the next round. At the end of each round, the team votes whoever they want as the weakest link. Now, the idea is, supposedly, you're supposed to vote off the worst player because that person's not contributing to banking money for the team. However, really what would end up happening is toward the end of the last couple of rounds, once they banked a lot of money already, they start voting off the strongest players because at the end, once it gets down to 2, they have a 5-question shootout. Each of them gets 5 questions and just alternating. Whoever gets the most right wins all the money.
Mm-hmm.
So to avoid playing against the strongest player, you vote them out a round or 2 before. So really, it's like the third or fourth strongest link ended up winning the money.
Yeah. And I think the key to the show is to be strong, but not too strong. And don't get cocky because I think if you get cocky, people might not like you as much.
Or just to be strong throughout the first part of the game, but then start missing questions so people don't really realize that you're doing well early on because they notice you sort of missing. I saw it a lot in the more recent, the 2020. When did the new one start? 21?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So 2021, I remember a particular contestant who ended up winning the show got, I think, all of the questions right that he was asked in the first 4 or 5 rounds. And then in the last round or 2, started missing some questions when they were going to start voting off the strongest players.
Yeah. What I would say is that often there are some weak contestants who make it really far just due to I don't want to say luck, but not being the worst. There's usually one person that's worse than them in a round, but they've been consistently weak, and they somehow survive through that. Or because if you get better as the show goes on, it looks like you're improving. Whereas if you get worse throughout the show, it kind of looks like you'll be voted off more often. But yeah, and then at the end, you want to be obviously in the middle.
Yeah, you want to be just, you still want to bank money if you can, but you really don't. By that point, you've already banked most of the money that you're going to bank, especially in the original.
Yeah, especially if it gets up to a value that the team is you get it wrong, you're going home, that's when you should.
Yeah, a lot of people would bank after, especially in the original, once they got 3 questions.
Yeah,
because the third question was worth 5,000. It wasn't often that you would see someone not bank the 5,000 because they wanted to go for 10.
Yeah,
even though statistically it made sense to at that point.
Yeah, because people go for 10,000, but I think once it got up to 10,000, people were no more.
except once. We
Yeah.
probably are going to touch on that because there's another particularly popular contestant who was in that episode.
Yeah. But so you want to talk about the host right now, or you want to talk about?
Yeah, we'll go with the host. So host Jane. No, that's not the original host. Anne Robinson. Sorry,
You're good.
Anne Robinson was completely nasty and mean.
Yeah.
She was called the Queen of Mean. And that was the part that sold the whole show.
Mhm.
It was, so the show started in, it says, you got here, August 14th, 2000 on BBC Two in Britain.
Yeah.
Which, just a couple of years before, we had Who Wants to Be a Millionaire starting.
Yeah.
So the era of the extra dramatic.
Dark light game show.
Dark with just very strong lighting, very serious game show was in full swing.
Yeah.
So despite top prize of just £10,000 and regular wins, never even approaching 3,000 often, it was they still pulled that, and that was what it was. Yeah, so they still had that feeling of the millionaire feeling. Without without the high stakes.
Mm-hmm.
The real stakes were honestly just not getting berated by Anne Robinson.
Yeah.
Because she was just very, very, very nasty. And that was the whole point.
Yeah.
She would constantly insult the contestants at the end of the round, make jokes about, trying to think of, do you remember any of the good ones? I'm trying to think of any of them.
I'm trying to think so.
I should have watched an episode
the
just
only
to
one I
remind
remember
myself.
it was one fry short of a Happy Meal on the phone. Off the top of my head.
Yeah. It's just little things to be like,
it always started with who, because it used to be somebody.
Yeah.
It used to be somebody.
Maybe we'll
she used a lot of
well, maybe we'll go through and try to find some.
Yeah.
Put them in so you get an idea.
Yeah, but what I would say with Anne is that she very often she wasn't afraid to call anybody out, even when they did well. It wasn't like she didn't get phased like at most, because like even when somebody got like something in on her, she was just sort of like okay, like she was respectful, like she took it like well, which I think makes it like very hard to like find her in a vulnerable position.
Yes,
but they also said if it was a guy hosting this, and I don't want to get into that too deeply, but they said you get a strong woman burying a man is seen really well, whereas if a man buries a woman, it's seen more it's more taboo, of course. I don't went too deep into that, but I understand why they picked her as host, because it works really well.
Oh yeah, she was absolutely brilliant host. She's one of very few game show hosts ever to host more than one version of the same game show in different countries. So she was the host of the British version, and then when the United States got the show, she came over to the US and filmed our version as host.
Isn't she like the host of Countdown now or something? Or she used to?
She hosted for like, I think I was just reading the article for Countdown the other day, and it was like 12 episodes or something.
Yeah.
Countdown went through a bunch, and honestly, part of the reason she didn't keep doing it was just because she kind of somewhat maintained that persona when it really doesn't work for Countdown, which is like the happiest, lightest game show where becoming a season champion gets you a giant encyclopedia set, which is worth like £4,000 or something.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's about the same prize as the Weakest Link had. So
even during the questions, she would read them, and then if they got it wrong, it was a little bit. She sort of delivered the answers in a bit of. If they got it wrong, she delivered them sort of in a harsh tone, or sort of like, or like let's say I say 49, she'll say 50, like or something like that.
Yeah, it's like it's either sometimes it's just very direct, subtle, or sometimes it's very like I mean sometimes it's very like you'd be like 50, and it's like the other times it'd be like that where it's almost just like in disbelief that you just don't know the answer.
Yeah, obviously she's known for "You're the Weakest Link, Goodbye," but she always eliminated contestant with like some sort of statement, which I think was good. Sort of added to the flair of it all.
And really, that's what made the show. The show had never been successful without this. It was not, like, I remember, like, I read the UKGameshows.com article about it, and they were like, imagine if, I think they said Les Dennis or something hosted it. It was called The Nicest Link, and it's like, at the end of the round, they'd be like, out of a possible $125,000, you banked a pathetic $5,000. It's like, $5,000 is still a lot of money. It's not nothing.
Yeah.
And even when they get a decent chunk, they could get like, they might have a good round and they get like 20,000 or something. It's like 20 grand. That's not a small amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's twice as much as GSN ever offers for anything.
Yeah, I think the issue with she takes a lot of time is like what they'll do is like they'll have a lot of correct answers in a row, but because they didn't keep going, because they could have gotten a perfect chain or a lot more money, but they chose not to take it, and they're sort of just leaving money on the table. But at that point, they didn't know that they would get 8 in a row. They're just answering a lot of questions correctly in a row.
I know at one point, this is an interesting thing. I did once go through and look up what the correct banking strategy. There's the correct banking strategy, and I never did it.
It's either bank after every question or bank after a certain amount of questions.
Certain number.
Yeah, because
so it would be like after, it's like in the US, it was either bank after every question or after like 5 exactly or something.
Yeah, because like 5 to 6 is when the jumps happen, like big jumps happen.
Yeah, so question 5 is worth 25. Question 6 is worth 50.
Yeah.
Question 7, 75. Question 8, 125.
Yeah.
So really, if you have a 50% chance of getting a question right, you want to bank on 25K because it's the last time there's a more than 2x jump. Unless you want to go for 50.
Because I feel like for some of the lower values, you need to like get those a lot of time, even just to make what you would make once answering like 5, which is why.
And that's where you can just bank every question.
The time coming off each round, what the time costs is, or you can go.
I would just, it depends. I would just, realistically, I would just bank every question.
Yeah.
You get $1,000 every single question. What's wrong with that? Because you can get you can easily get $30,000-$40,000 that way.
Yeah.
You probably get more, realistically.
Yeah, obviously. Like, if you're playing for, because there's only one person's going to win the money in the end of the day, so you should be making...
make sure you got some money.
You should be banking good enough to... Maybe banking after, every second or third question, Maybe not banking, every first question, but maybe every second or third, just to show maybe you're not... Well, I mean, you can't control, but,
the problem is with banking after 2 questions, it's like you have to risk 1,000 to go for 2,500.
Yeah.
It's like, well, 1,000 going for 2,000, it's not worth it whatsoever. It's just even money.
Yeah.
You have to look at the the multiplier, and it's like if you have a 50%, then you go for 2,500.
Yeah.
But you don't even go for 5. Well, actually, you do go for 5 because you can double for 5, double for 10. They go 2.5 extra.
Yeah.
Part of it's the money ladder too.
What I'll say is, obviously, with the time coming off each round, it forces people to play faster, it forces people to bank faster, it forces people to, just speed up. And you still get through more questions per person because there's one less person, obviously. So I'm not sure if I like that. I do like the time taking away mechanic a little bit because I think once they're used to the game I think it's a little bit easier to sort of, not necessarily punish them, but sort of make it a little bit more interesting that way, maybe.
Yeah.
How do you feel about taking the time away?
I actually don't like the reducing of the time because I think it only became an interesting thing in the newer version.
Yeah.
Because the money ladders was different.
Yeah. I was gonna bring that up too, but for it, it was.
Do you want to get to the revival because it's kind of parts of it change?
We can talk about the changing, how they changed the change round right now.
Yeah. So the revival is in the revival they changed it so instead of the prize being 125,000 each round, with the exception of the last round, it was always double.
Yeah.
So it was equivalent at 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, so on.
Yeah.
In the revival, there's a new chain each round, and each one the money increased. So in round 1, the top prize is only 25 grand, which people actually do get occasionally.
Yeah.
It was okay. In the original series, it was only seasons. There was one time when the group hit the 125 in round 1.
Yeah.
Which Anne, just to give an idea of Anne said a reasonable start team because everyone, after about a good 15 seconds,
crazy.
The audience is so hard.
They're trying not to act all.
But you can tell. You can tell she was impressed with it, but it's she's trying not to she doesn't act.
She's trying not to admit she's impressed. She's trying not to admit it.
Yeah, and that's what Anne.
The next round, obviously, when they do worse, she obviously capitalizes on that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And so in the round 1, it's 25 grand in the 2020 revival.
Mm-hmm.
And in round 2, it's 50,000, then 75,000, 100,000, and then $250,000 and $500,000.
Yeah.
Again, they need a 7th round because in the new version, because there's only 6 rounds instead of 7 like the original, once you vote down from 3 to 2, there's not still one more money-making round. So
Yeah, and
there's
that
the obvious you
vote
want to
off
vote
the
the strongest
strongest
person
player,
out.
yeah.
There's
But
not
I
like
also
an incentive for keeping someone better.
yeah. The only incentive to keep smart people around in the revival, I think, is that changing of the chain because you get more money. There's a chance you get like a really lot of money. Like you get like 3 smart people at the end. Chance you get like a lot of money at the end,
I think that's
but
what we
that
had
should also
done
apply to the
once.
final 2 round, which I think is the flaw there. If they had like a final 2 round where it was like, I don't want to say 500,000 because, well, isn't yeah okay. Well, in the original it was 125, and if you did that through all 7 rounds, because the last round was doubled, so it would have been 250, and that would have got you
You
the
were
money.
right. Yeah.
But in the revival, you do want to keep smart people around just to get more money, but it's not really. But only one person goes on with the money, so there's no dilemma at the final 3, of course, because
And
there's
the
no
other problem
round
is
after
you
that.
would, unless you have a particularly smart final 2, there's
Yeah,
no real reason to go up the ladder because it starts
yeah,
at 2,500.
yeah,
And then it's always either 2 or 2.5 times the last value.
yeah,
So it's basically 2.5, 5, 10, and then the same, front 2 digits with that zeros 25, 50, 100, $250,000, $500,000. It's like,
yeah,
unless you're really, really, really good team, there's no
yeah,
reason to go for
yeah.
half a
Like,
million. And you
yeah,
have
I know reason to go
both
for like the
players
top
have to be
value,
good.
but but I will say it sort of keeps me watching because like the revival, like I'm sort of still watching because like it sort of keeps me watching because I'm like, well, maybe something will happen where they get like 100K or something, or
They did get 50
but it's not like
once.
the top of the chain, but like go get like a 6-figure value because I haven't seen any 6-figure wins in the
Yeah, I
revival.
think they got 50,000 round like 5 or 6 once.
Yeah, yeah, because like maybe they'll get 6-figure, and this sort of keeps me
Yeah.
watching, but it's not like a very big incentive. It just feels like sort of a
Yeah, but it's like 50
like
grand is
maybe
like,
it'll happen, but it's not actually a reason I think it will happen. But maybe.
yeah, it's like the thing is, no one wants to see it because first of
Yeah,
all,
no one wants to actually go for it, but because they're trying to like
because
save
50
themselves.
grand is like a year's salary. It's like,
Yeah,
who wants to risk like an
yeah,
entire
yeah,
year's
like
salary
exactly, and exactly, and I think
just to win 2?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, and
without knowing the question, without knowing how difficult it is, knowing that because it's the final round, it's likely to be more difficult. No one wants to go for it.
yeah,
And it makes sense. I mean, fair enough. Like, I wouldn't want to risk it, but like, that's one of the problems is it doesn't
yeah.
actually really change too
So
much.
going back to the team that got the perfect chain, the
Yes.
125. So after they got that, they really played it safe. Obviously, they just banked out every question because it was like, yeah, 125, that's a lot of money. I don't care. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
they
at
just played
that
it
point,
safe.
I would actually just play
Yeah,
extra
yeah, I would
risky.
play it
Like,
safe after
we
you get
got
100 round.
125. Let's go for another one.
Yeah. Like, part yeah, like, there's obviously 2 strategies there. Like, after you get the 125, you're like, "Okay, let's just go crazy. Like, we got all the money already." Or there's the strategy of, you know but then, if you go for you try to go for the perfect chain each time. Okay, they got the perfect chain the first time. So maybe if they went for it again, someone would have screwed it up and then, that person gets voted off, obviously. But after I think at that point, everyone was just sort of like, "We got the money. Let's just play the game and, vote each other off regularly, the regular game." But
Yeah.
I
Like, I
think
don't, honestly, though, at that point, you also just vote out the strongest people
yeah,
constantly because you got
in the first
125.
round,
You know it's almost impossible
yeah,
to do it again. So why not
yeah,
just eliminate the strongest people so
yeah,
that way
especially with less
you have
time
an
and,
easier time winning, 100K
yeah,
plus whatever it was. And I think it was like
yeah,
what, 150,
25,
160 at the end of
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Within the
150,
strong.
60, 70 something. But yeah, in the first round, they voted off like a young guy, who, like who I think he was a student or like he had graduated from college or like something like that. And like the reason they voted him off after he got from chain was like they were like, well, he'll have many more opportunities and he'll have many more chances, And it was sort of like
Yeah.
it wasn't that he was young. I think it was that he was smart. I think, and they wanted to get a big threat out early when they could
Yeah,
justify like, well, everyone got the question right. What do you want me to do? Like,
they don't, yeah, they never actually say, oh, like until the very end, some people are like, oh yeah, I voted that person out because it's Trump. It's like a lot of people still won't say, oh, I voted them off because I thought they were going to be the best players. So I voted them off so I don't have to face them.
yeah,
Actually, in the British version, often they're instead of saying Jane would say, "It's time to vote off the weakest link." And then the contestants would write their votes.
Yeah.
There would be times in the British one where, especially at the end, that she would say, "Have the courage to vote off the weakest link."
Yeah, have the courage.
Which it just illustrates like that it was the obvious and very common strategy because there's no penalty.
That's obviously like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But
play the game the way it was intended to be played, not the way it should actually be played.
Yeah.
If you want to win, which kind of,
that's something else that I think it was about. I got it was in my head and I forgot. Yeah, I think it was. Oh yeah, so like before they vote off so they rate their votes or put in their votes or whatever, and then Anne just is there for a few minutes talking to them, trying to get to know them a little bit. How do you feel about that? Do you think it sort of detracts, or do you think it's a good thing?
I mean, I don't mind. So generally, when it comes to game shows, I don't really care for who the contestants are.
Yeah,
like I want the contestant to be like fun, but like I don't need to know their whole life story.
Yeah.
So the thing is with this show, they do it well because you get just a very small bit of it, and then obviously go straight to the insults about it's like
you get a little bit of like
one
what do you do?
Contestant. Let's talk about the one contestant, Jordan.
Yeah.
He mentioned he worked. Anne asked him, what do you do? He said, "I work for a large bank in the Northeast."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Okay, is there anything interesting about your job?" It's like, it's just making fun of it. Sometimes it'd be related to their job.
Yeah,
it's like,
he brings up the question, of course, and it's like...
Yeah. It's especially funny when they get a question wrong and it's kind of related to what they do.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't mind that banter. It's more of when, like, it's about, okay, what's your job? And, like, okay, what do you do? It's like, I'm fine with that.
They usually make fun. They usually make fun of them as if they're terrible at their job.
Yeah, like, and it's like, okay, you made fun of them, and it just, sometimes it just drags on, and I don't know why, but I'm fine with it, honestly. Like, and she does go to different people, and then she does go to different people, and she does say, okay, why'd you vote for this person? Why'd you vote for this person? And I'm fine with that too. I feel like there's these moments of like sometimes it'll just like you're dragging it on just like a little too long, but I don't know why. But
do you want to talk about?
It doesn't it's not like a deal breaker for me.
Yeah. Or I remember one time. Never mind. We'll get to that later. Never mind. I was going to say about there in between the two primetime versions of the US, the 2000 and the 2021.
Yeah.
They had daytime one with Georgia Gray, and he was making fun of him it was the firefighters edition, and he was one a contestant who was very kind of giving it back to George Gray afterward. He was you started off blazing, but then you ended up going down in a blaze or something like that. Just to go with the whole firefighter. Yeah, so basically the job was it didn't make you necessarily have to care about the contestants, because that I think is one of those. I don't really want to have to care about each individual contestant or who has to win. Yeah, I just want to see I care more about the game than the contestants.
Yeah, of course.
It's kind of like AGT is just whoever has the best sob story. No one actually people do get the crap because they do end up winning. Yes. There are people who definitely shouldn't have won AGT just because they feel it's better because they like the story. It's nonsense, but whatever.
I will say, so in the final two, shifting topics for a little bit here, in the final two, I believe it sort of works like the chase where, it's like, okay, there's set A and there's set B. Or like, well, it's not really like that, but you can choose to go
first or second.
Yeah, first or second, and that determines what questions you get. I'm pretty sure they're even most of the time.
Yeah, so I think that's fine. I think it's just kind of random, whatever question.
Yeah, it's random.
They generally seem like every now and then you get one that's like a very obvious question.
Obviously, it's better to go second. That way, the pressure's sort of off. So or maybe you should go first.
Yeah, you kind of know whether you need to make it or not.
Yeah, but it's not really like a. It's just more of it's more like a process. Like, okay, we have to do this, so.
It's not like, oh, if I get this question
wrong, it's like one of those legal things. It's like, okay,
at least you know if you're going to lose or not.
Do it. Like, the rules say this. Do it. We don't want to get sued.
Yeah. I mean, if they did give specific questions to specific contestants as well, it'd be very illegal. And they get sued. The network would die because networks have no money anymore. But whatever. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. How do you feel about? How do you feel about the fact when they changed it to celebrities recently?
I don't care about celebrities. Celebrities
Yeah.
are just a waste of time.
I
It,
watched
it
it.
ruins
Let's say
the
it
whole
wasn't
point.
like half bad. I just think it was like yikes. Like I'm like, okay, let me watch this train wreck. Like let me watch this train wreck. 'Cause
Yeah,
sometimes
like
I like
that's
watching
like
train wrecks, and I really fast forwarded through a lot of it. But I watched a train wreck, and I was like, dang, this is.
it's kind of funny if it was like comedians and
Here's
stuff.
the thing.
I think
Here's
they
the thing.
did
What's
the
weird
comedian
is the
special.
original Weakest Link. I was like, the original revival. I didn't care as much for some reason, and I was like, why do I not care as much? And then I realized it's like, oh right, because there's a chance, like, you know, and like this is my thing with the Weakest Link is like, I like watching it until it's unfair, and then when it's unfair, I like stop caring, and I'm like, okay, you know what, screw this. Like I want to stop watching. Like it doesn't make me want to watch more
Yeah,
because
it's
I
like
feel like I'm
yeah,
gonna see more unfairness. Like
the first 4 rounds are good. The second 2 are
yeah,
boring, and then the final actually gets back
yeah.
to interesting, just because you want to see who
Yeah,
wins.
like the first couple rounds are really good. Like I think after like at 4 people or 3 people is like when I don't care as much anymore, and I don't know why. I just think it's the voting becomes like it's not going to be voting actually. Like
I mean,
it
to be
feels like
fair,
kind
I
of
feel like
the
more
voting kind of
often in
feels
the
like moot at that
revival,
point. Like
there was more people in the revival who would vote off who they believe was
yeah,
the weakest link because they
yeah,
wanted, the respect of the
honor,
game. But it's like,
because like they'd banked so little
if
money, and
there's
it was like we
$50,000 on the
banked
line,
like
I don't care about how much people respect me at that point.
yeah.
I
I
want to win
think the
money.
reason they started voting out the weakest links more is because they were making like no money, and they were like, okay, do you really want to get? Some people about that, and they were like. Really, bro? I can't give $5,000. And like, here's the thing: on the celebrity version, they think they rounded it up to like 50,000, even if you lost. So even
Really?
then, it's
It's
like,
interesting.
you know, a moot point. It's like we're rounding it up to $50,000 because it's charity. But
Oh
and,
yeah, the charity editions. That's right.
yeah,
I
like
forgot we were going. Yeah, Case
well, the
they
revival when
did
the celebrities didn't do good enough, they rounded it up to 50,000 because
a couple of the British ones were good. I
yeah,
remember you mentioned
yeah.
one. If you want to
But
go with that,
the celebrity
with
version was fine, I guess.
Dr.
But eh. But the reason I watched it more for some reason was because it was like I didn't care as much about the outcome. Like I didn't care like if they turned on each other or not. I think that's why I didn't care as much. But like I did watch it more. I didn't care as much like if they voted off strongest thing on the celebrity version. Whereas like on the civilian version, like I care more if they vote off strongest because it's a little bit more.
I actually care more if they vote off the strongest link in the celebrity one intentionally
Oh
because it's like the money's going to charity.
yeah, but like
Like,
the thing is like the
there's
show
no,
rounded it up so often that I was like, well, whatever. I'm not gonna get above
yeah,
50,000. So like
celebrities are
they're just gonna
stupid.
round it up to 50,000 because the show's gonna round it up anyway, which is like
Yeah,
the thing is like
even
so. And, like, most of the time, they can't really even manage to, like, get more than, like get enough money on the chain anyway, so
yeah, and
yeah, they rounded it
and
up,
I don't.
like, most of the time, like
They never did in the revival. They never actually rounded it up. They did. I know in the original.
well,
I
in the
think I
celebrity
remember that.
revival, sometimes what they did is that they didn't reach 50,000, they would round it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
I don't
but
remember. You're probably right. I just don't remember.
yeah, it's only on the celebrity edition, it's not actually on the other versions.
Yeah,
But, yeah, so
yeah. I mean, there's not many. Yeah, there's not much. I feel like at this point it would just kind of make sense to go through like.
yeah.
I mean, how like what
You
the
wanna talk
funniest moments of
about
the show were.
yeah, do you wanna talk about, like so, I was sort of mentioning before I like this. I like the show. I like watching it, but when I see something unfair, I start to like lose interest. I'm like, oh, what? Like I come back to this every once in a while because I really like it. But like, there's a certain thing in me where I just like after a while of like binging it, like I'm just like over it because it's just not necessarily because it's unfair, but like I'm sort of like, eh, like there's something
Yeah,
that's not that doesn't
but
like make
what's
me want to watch it like as often. Cause like for me, what's always happened is like, okay, I'll have a period of time where I watch it and then I don't watch it for like months or like weeks or like, and then I come back to it and watch it for a bit more.
I mean, to be fair, that's
Because
not
when I
even
come
your
back to it,
fault.
I'm
It's
like,
just a
okay, it's
bit.
not that bad. It's not as unfair as I thought. It's not as unfair as I thought. And then I watch
To
it
be
and
fair,
it's like, oh, it's much more unfair than I thought. You know?
that is actually just how often they showed the show because
Yeah.
for some reason if there was no consistent like this is
Yeah.
how often episodes would come out. There was for like very early in the revival, but then it got to like every like 3 months you just get like one random episode of the weakest link.
Yeah.
I just went like right after some kind of other show ended or
Yeah.
something.
Like, this is one of those shows where I think it's more bingeable, I think, than I think
I,
there's
I don't. I actually would. I've tried. I've done it before, but it's like I can only get to like a couple
yeah,
episodes,
I
and
like it
like
through a few, like not
the
like
game is the
no,
game is
for
very
a period of
long.
time, and then after that, I'm just like, I'm like disconnected from it, and then I come back to it a little bit, and so I'm like in and out with it. But it's not like one day I'm watching it, the next day I'm not.
I would
But
say,
yeah,
do you want to go through kind of Jordan and then whoever I can't remember the man
yeah,
thing,
you
the
can go through that right
firefighter?
now. I guess.
I think that might be a good time, just because I think that was probably what the highlight of the show was.
Yeah,
Like all of the episodes that have ever been done, these two
yeah,
are probably
yeah.
the best.
Another thing I like. Sometimes what will happen. Well, I don't like when the contestants do it, but I like answer response. So like, what will happen is like she's asking a question, right? So like, okay, let's say they get it wrong, and then like she does the answer, right? And then the contestants who got it wrong, they're like, oh my god, and then the next she starts asking the next person a question, and then like and the other two are still acting up, and then she's like, be quiet, like.
That happened one
Yeah,
time in
I
the
think happened in the Hobbit special. I think because
the puppet special. I think it was it Zippy and George?
I think maybe I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly.
If you want to watch the show and you want to watch one of the British episodes, if you watch the puppet special, it was hilarious. It's
Yeah,
just there's no reason for it. It just worked so well. It was so funny. That's definitely like probably my favorite episode of this show ever.
yeah, yeah. I'll say that. Oh god, where'd it go? There we go. Oh yeah. So I when they vote with like the flipping the boards, I don't know if I mean it's fine to me, but I find it kind of weird. Like
It was it was
I
just
prefer
very
when they
cheap.
press the buttons on the
Like,
revival because I can just see and just like okay, it's easier. But
yeah.
when they write with the boards, it's a little weird. But it was funny because I created a lot of bloopers. But
And the pens didn't work.
yeah,
Pens never worked.
I
I
always
don't
found
know
the boards
why.
weird because I found it a little bit not hard to read, but like obviously it wasn't hard to read, but like
And now they got a screen. So it was originally he
yeah,
wrote it on a literal blue metallic board,
yeah, or
and then
like
they changed it to
he has a
you
button
write
and
on a
like
screen.
yeah,
No, they changed writing on the screen, and then they changed
yeah,
it
writing on a
to
screen and then it reveals
in the
on
new series is they have you
the
literally
button.
just press a button on
Yeah,
the screen in front of you. It's a touch screen, and then they
I
press
think
the
I like
button.
the digital touchscreen the most because I think
Oh
I
yeah,
like
for
that
sure.
the
It made
most
it so
because I
easy. You
think
can actually
you
read
could
it.
like put like a heart or something and it's easier to put the heart in. It's like
Yeah,
it's easier to like mark it up. Like
yeah. Sometimes
it's
people
below
will
their
draw on them
name,
and
so you can
stuff.
see like it's easier to like make that connection. Where when it's above their name, like it's a little harder to.
Oh, did you know that you're not allowed to vote for yourself?
Yeah, I know.
Like when you
Wow.
watch it, it's like on the new one, you can see the touch screen. It only
Yeah.
it has everyone's names except for the person whose screen
Yeah.
you can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is actually you're not actually allowed to vote for yourself, which I
Yeah.
think
You
is
are not
funny.
allowed to.
I think you should be allowed to if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't think you should. I would.
Yeah.
I think it would be funny to
I
allow it
think
at
it's more of
least.
a thing to like allow each contestant to play the way they want to, but like at the end of the day, like if you eliminate yourself and like another person was like, I needed you because I needed to beat you in the final, like, and like another person is like, I needed you to beat you in the final, and I'm like, and they vote themselves off. It's like, which I don't think is actually ever going to happen, but
I was just thinking it would be funny
yeah,
to see someone who just thought, "Oh
yeah,
yeah, I
like
did so
imagine
terrible.
if
There's
you
no
wanted
way
a
I
certain
survive.
person
I'll
in the
just vote
final
myself
and they
just
voted
to make
themselves
it."
off. That would be funny.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
so how do you?
I
Okay,
just
I think that's a good time actually. How do you feel about the so when the show starts, they're all in a I don't want to say a green room, but they're in they're
no, it's a
talking to
great
each
room.
other on a couch, and I'm pretty sure that's not. I'm sure that actually happened, but I'm sure like the actual footage that was used is more so not as
Yeah,
I don't want to say well
I mean that's just backstage before the game
yeah
begins. And I think
backstage
they do.
right yeah backstage
I mean the clips are probably staged up, but
yeah, yeah.
I do think they actually get some time to talk to each other.
Maybe not staged, but like definitely like edited like maybe like that sort of thing.
Yeah, in the originals, not the revival. They
Yeah,
don't do that in the revival.
yeah. Like these contestants are I don't remember this film, but like it's something like that. $1 million.
So yeah,
Where do you want to go?
I wanted to go to. I want to talk about Howard. Howard is so funny.
Sure.
I really want to talk about Howard.
We're talking about.
You can talk. You can say it if you want, but I really want to get to Howard.
No,
I
you
think
start.
that's
You start hard because you got.
okay.
Then I'll
So
talk.
the aforementioned Howard, he was on the show, the same episode. The team ran the first chain for $125,000.
Yeah.
And
Later in the
Anne
show.
went to So after was this late in the show? I thought it was earlier.
Later. I just said later. I didn't say like that far later. I just said later in the show after the first round.
Yeah.
Well, not after. After the first round, but like round 3 or 4, I don't remember. But it might be
So
in the middle rounds. In the middle rounds, it was in the middle.
regardless, and after the voting goes, Howard, just, that's how, just very
Yeah.
straightforward. That's, just
Yeah.
your persona. He just responds. And so she's like, what do you do? I work for a large bank in the Northeast. And obviously there's nothing to play with there.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, okay, is there anything interesting about your job? I was saying this before. It's like, he was like, no, there's it's interesting to me, but I'm sure it go right over your head. So she asked, well, the next part's a little interesting, but
Yeah.
she goes, is there any, are you always very quick, are you? And he went, sometimes, in some things, yes, in other things, I like to take my time, if you know what I mean. She's like, I have no idea what you mean. He went, somehow I don't doubt that. It just you just constantly had something to get back at her with, and it was like the only time it really, really happened.
Yeah, like she got. I think she got owned now because because Howard didn't like argue with her. She just let Anne she just let Anne ask the question, and then he was like, well, that's how I like to do it. Like, all right.
Anne's insults were generally, it seemed to be likely in a teleprompter.
Yeah.
But when she would talk to the contestants, it did seem a little bit more open-ended. It's not like the contestants had lines and that Anne had lines to produce it. It kind of just did seem, here's how the actual bit went.
Yeah.
And he was one of the only contestants to ever fight back.
Yeah.
There was also the firefighter. Again, I can't remember his name. I feel like it was Frank, but it could be completely wrong.
Yeah. He told off George Gray pretty.
Yeah, so yeah. Do you remember exactly how it went? He was I
don't remember exactly, honestly. I don't.
You like running into burning buildings? He's like, yep, running in while it was like you were kind of screaming like little girls.
Yeah, something like that. Where it's like you wouldn't, or I was talking about fire, getting out of.
Yes, and then if he again, George was the one that's George when he got voted off. He said, I just said it earlier. Do you remember what it was?
Oh, what? Which one?
When Frank got where the pirate boat was got voted off.
I don't remember what he said, honestly.
It was
I talked.
Oh, when you started off hot or on fire or something, but at the end you went down.
It was talking about fire and getting out.
With how many votes you are the weakest link? Goodbye, and then he then dusted his shoulder. The walk of shame. We didn't even talk about the walk of shame.
Oh yeah, the walk of shame.
Oh, okay. So
I just
the last
walk
line
of shame okay. I like the walk of shame. I like the contestant interview more. I'll say that much. I like the interviews more when they get eliminated.
I think the interviews are fine. But the walk of shame was definitely a good part of the bit.
I like the walk when they put the board down and then they walk off and it's like screw them. You can see in their head they just feel but then they actually.
And the new ones are too nice.
Comes out. Yeah.
In the revival, everyone's always like, "Bye, sorry, whatever." It's like no. But it should have to be completely. It should completely silent except for the depressing
person will be walking off, and the rest of the people will be like, "Bye, it's okay." Just and then the person in the interview is like, "They're fake. They're being fake nice. They don't actually think I'm actually a good person." Or not necessarily not a person.
This person better go out. I think this person's gonna win. It's always
they weren't actually
judgment against the other players.
They meant to vote me off. It's more of a obviously they respect you in real life, but it's more in the game. Obviously they don't. Obviously they didn't want to keep you, so them trying to be fake nice is not it doesn't work out because the contestant sees right through that. Well, if you thought I was good, you would have kept me. Throw that thing. Sorry, that was. Wait.
So, that's fine. So, how much more did you want to talk about? Did you want to talk about?
We can go on for a few more minutes.
International it was.
Oh, we can go on for a few more minutes, but then I think we should wrap it up. But
just as an aside, Colin Jost was on the George Gray version. I remember seeing the clip. Nice. Funny. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, you want to talk about the differences in host and Robinson versus George Gray?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, we do need to talk about.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier. I think it's good thing. Okay, so Anne Robinson. I think I like the way they picked good outfits for her to, I guess, wear.
And by that, it was all black every time, without question, except in the April Fool's version. Yeah, she did have a pink jacket or something. And she acted very friendly until the end of the first round, and then went straight back to classic cold, demeaning Anne Robinson that we all know and love.
Yeah.
To hate.
Yeah. She wears glasses, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's what makes her look smarter.
Well, she also just needs glasses because she needs to see.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't think it's bad. I
It
think
wasn't like contacts were prevalent at that point either.
Yeah.
And the
Or it's great, you know, I feel like the tone and difference is different between the two. Because Anne Robinson will be more like, how do you say it? She'll just be mean, she'll use a lot of words that are cunning, she'll use like, you know, she's in the best interest for the team, but she's not shy about it, she's blunt about it. You know, she's like very like, you only scrapped together $5,000. Like, you need to like ditch the dummy, like sort of totally ass up. Whereas George Gray's more like, you need to vote off the stupidest player, like
yeah, his like the insults weren't there. And again, it's not really his fault.
He's more loud about it. It's like being loud is not the same as being like sharp and like
correct.
Yeah. Being loud just makes it look like being loud just makes it look like you're like I don't want to say yelling. You go, yeah, I would say yelling, but like being loud just makes it look like you're desperate, like Whereas if you say it bluntly, but you say it like in a nice tone, like well, not nice tone, but like you say it in a sharp tone, like it's more likely to like people will like actually like listen up, like hey, listen up, like Anne's more like hey, listen up, like George is more like vote off the weakest link, like just yelling, like not yelling, but it's more just like straight to the point, like
does
that make sense?
And then but so George was somewhat like Anne. Jane Lynch is definitely different.
Yeah. What I'll say about Jane, I do like her. It's more like in good fun, but it is still like the same, not necessarily the same as Anne, but more so like it's a different style, but it keeps like the undertone.
You described it as snarky as opposed to
snarky,
cold.
Like
she's actually happy for the contestant that wins the money. She'll do the insults
the strongest link, but like not actually there's a strongest link according to the show because the strongest link is the person who outlasted according to the show.
The insults are still there, which is
they're
good.
more comedic, but I think it works better when it's comedic because it's in good fun and you know they're not because like a lot of people I think when the show first came out they were like dang they really want to embarrass these people and it's like it's not about embarrassing you, it's all in good fun, but like if we make it look like we're embarrassing you, like I don't know. Because I think the original show, like, it wasn't, like, trying to embarrass people. It just came off that way sometimes. Like, but I think when you do it, it's comedic and in good fun, but you're still doing, like, snarky insults or who doesn't have a shot at staying here? Or, like, something like that. Or I can't remember off the top of my head any, like, good Jane Lynch lines, but I know she has some good ones that relate to, like, TV shows or events or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can talk back. I'm looking for someone to bounce off.
Yeah, there's bounce. Sorry. Yeah. She hosts differently, and when big game show fans, such as myself, such as a lot of people in groups that I was especially much more heavily involved in online, very much did not like Jane, but it's really because she wasn't Anne. And we were talking before. I was going to mention that Jane is actually a really good host.
Yeah.
And people just don't like it because she's not Anne. It's sort of in the same way that people in Minute to Win It didn't like Apollo Ono as host because he wasn't Guy Fieri.
Apollo was too rigid for me, but yeah.
Except to be fair,
I won't get into that.
Jane was actually a really good host where I feel like Apollo wasn't just necessarily that really wasn't his thing.
I think
Jane was actually a really good host. And I know I watched it with my parents and they preferred Jane. Now, I'm not going to I'm not going to say anything that was getting me banned from a lot of these groups.
Okay.
Because I mean,
no, I understand.
I did talk about it once and I mentioned that I thought Jane was a good host and I did get muted for 1 minute sarcastically, but like on a Discord, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jane was good, and it just depends on your kind of taste. And people who are very much game show purists, or like think of the original as more just a classic show, didn't like that it kind of switched the form of comedy, even though it's still somewhat combative with the contestants. And it's almost, there's somewhat contestants versus host rather than contestants versus other contestants.
Yeah.
There's still definitely some of that, but it's not as...
Yeah.
Yeah, they just didn't like it, and I thought it was good. I enjoyed that because I felt like there was more potential for comedy in the show.
Yeah. Because I think with Jane, it's more like when someone gets voted off, or like they do the walk of shame and everything. It's more like, well, you're going home. Bye bye. Well, bye bye. Well, you're going home. You're the weakest link. Goodbye. Like,
Yeah,
she doesn't say it with like a mean tone. She just says it in a like, hey, well, you're going home. Like,
yeah,
the tone is better. I think. I think she says it in a tone where it's not as cruel, and I think that helps it.
yes.
She's not as cruel to them, but you know.
Yeah, it's just
She does
taste.
call them out
I
on
like...
their, she does call them out on their, like, if they get a question wrong, like, she'll call them out on it, but it's not gonna be, like, in a cruel manner. It's gonna be more in a comedic, like, snarky,
Yeah.
manner.
So,
I had something
if you
else
want
about
to,
the-
if you're going to watch The Weakest Link one time,
Yeah.
I would say probably watch a classic episode.
Yeah.
If you're not a person who generally watches game shows, which you're listening to an entire very niche podcast about game shows, you probably like game shows.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, actually, to be fair, you probably should still go in. If you're one that's not into game shows, you would still probably enjoy the Jane Lynch version.
Yeah.
Because there's more of a comedic effect within the game.
Yeah. And one last note on the host. Anne is more just like, she appeals to that, game show fan that's like, okay, these contestants are dumb, like, let them have it. Like, whereas Jane appeals more to like not necessarily the casual viewer, but more of the regular, like, game show, like, okay, there's a game show, it's being played, like, hey, we're here to have a good time, but, we want to have fun along the way, but, like, we're here to have a good time at the end of the day, so, but that doesn't mean, we can't call you out on your, she'll still call them out.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Keeps it fun, yeah. And, yeah, I guess if you're going to watch The Weakest Link, yeah, definitely start with a classic episode with Anne, and then, I think, then go into the revival, or maybe George, or a UK episode. Because I think start with the UK or US episode, and then I think starting with the US episode is probably the best, because it makes more sense in the US. Because in the US, it makes more, it's easier for her to insult people, because they get more questions wrong, I think. Well, not necessarily, but.
I mean, I think the American questions are also generally harder. Like in the UK,
yeah, the UK ones are harder, but like then
the
again, it's
money
also
was
cultural
so much
differences,
smaller.
So, yeah.
Like in the UK, almost every single episode, the first round was a perfect round.
Yeah.
And they had 9. They'd get 9 questions correct.
Well, here's the thing. The first round is generally easier than the other rounds. The second round's a little easier. And then third round, from then on, it's usually really hard. Third round,
but
in
the US, there's only one perfect
like,
team.
Okay, fill in the blank. The idiom, I'm trying to think. It's like, complete this idiom. I've got your, and then just like fill in back, like, or something like that. But
yeah,
or like fill in the blank, or like,
where do penguins live? Where do penguins live? The Arctic or South Kensington?
Yeah, like multiple choice, true or false. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like one or the other. Someone.
Because I think they're trying to start them off easy. I think they try to start them off easy so everyone gets used to it, and then they start ramping it up, obviously.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And
which is why I think
especially do it sorry.
Oh, no, you can go.
I was just saying the revival, it's also only 25,000 the first chain.
Yeah.
It's been run multiple times.
Yeah, so I think the difficulty scale is better.
I mean, there's probably at least like 3 25K runs. I think there might even have been a 50K once.
Yeah.
I think someone ran the second round.
And I think another thing I'll say is, one time they got a perfect chain, and it was like, and then it was like, in that pathetically easy round, and I'm like, yep, I know, yeah, now I know the questions in the first round are easier. Because it was like, it was the first round.
Yeah, but it's a little hard. You kind of, this is one I feel like if you watch it, it makes a lot more sense. I feel like us talking about it is not going to be as good as just going for it. If you think any of the stuff that we said is interesting, give it a shot.
Yeah,
it's not. Is he like, even if you don't, or if you're not sure what you think of it, you have to give this one a shot. The other ones where it's like I did Fifth Grader. Fifth Grader, we can kind of explain it and explain how the show feels. This one, it's just really confusing because, if you've seen Millionaire, you can understand Fifth Grader. Or if you've seen any game show, you understand Fifth Grader. This one's very different.
Yeah. And the only thing I'll say is, I'll say how it was marketed. It was marketed as Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire combined with Survivor. So that's what the show
And
was
that's
marketed.
honestly very accurate.
Yeah. And then, okay, so I want to just talk about how you feel about like the voting blocks or the alliances, and then we'll be done with it. And then we'll be done, and then we'll be done almost, and then we'll talk about how we would play the game, and then we'll be done. Yeah.
Yes. You want to go over it?
I guess.
Okay.
So backstage, sometimes what can happen is you're allowed to talk with the other contestants and sort of like strategize or like form alliances. And basically, since majority of the shows have 8 or 9 people, you only really need 4 people to vote the same way every round in order to really form one. And then what you do is just vote off. You either vote off the weakest link each round, or you pick a specific person to vote off each round. I'm not sure exactly how it was done, but they pick up a specific person to vote off each round, and you all vote that way. And then regardless of what everyone else votes, that person will still be voted off, or you'll have the strongest link, break tie, of course. And I think that's a good mechanic, obviously. I haven't even brought that up, but
yeah.
strongest link breaking time.
Yeah, a lot of time, especially in the revival, I noticed there were a lot of times when it would be a group of women voting off men, not as much the other way around. And also during the military special, they each had shirts with what branch of the military. I believe the Marines never voted for each other until it was down to I think there was 3 Marines, and it was just the 3.
Yeah.
Then they voted for each other.
Yeah, what I will say is, I think the strongest link breaking tie is also a good mechanic, but because it keeps it in the power of the person who's the smartest. But oh yeah, and if the strongest link gets voted off, the second strongest link starts the next round. But of course, if you watch it, you'll understand. But that's the alliances. Or you can finish up and then go back to.
Did you want to talk about how
you can finish up on the whatever you want. You can finish up and then
we're going to talk about how we're going to play the game, and I would play within the voting box.
Well. Okay, we're on the strongest link breaking the tie thing, but you can finish up what you were saying before, and then
that was all I
we'll talk about.
That was just
we'll talk about the alliance. We'll finish up the alliance part and the strongest link part, and then we can talk about.
Yeah, the strongest. So yeah, the first round, it's just whoever's at the first podium, or in the British version, it was whoever's name is first alphabetically, which I thought was a really interesting choice.
Oh yeah, the person who's first alphabetically goes first. Or I think in the US it's a random draw. I think it's just first position. They do a random draw, and then that's how they lay them out in the actual show.
Yeah, that's what they should.
Like the person on the left goes first. Like
that's the most fair, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think doing it left to right is actually fairest, because like you know when you're going, and it's not like random, and it makes it like easier to keep track. I think the strongest link breaking the tie is a really good, because it keeps it in the hands of the smartest person. I guess. Do you agree? Or
sorry, say it again.
Strongest link breaking the tie. If there's a tie in voting.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
There could be. Yeah, we'd mentioned it before. What if there was a way to make it so we mentioned you could say the strongest link could have immunity?
Yeah.
I feel like that's not really a good choice.
I feel like the strongest link needs an advantage, but I don't think they need like immunity. I feel like there's another way to do it, but I haven't figured that out yet, because I was formulating ways, but then I realized when it's down to 3 people, it's very difficult to give it a strongest link an advantage, because they already have the advantage of breaking the tie. And like, if both people vote them off, like, the only other thing you could do is give them immunity, and that's the only other thing you could do.
Or if you vote the strongest link off, you could like penalize them like money wise, but then it's hard, because then it's kind of hard to want to do that. But if it makes the game more fair, like
maybe like cut the bank in half or something like that, like
or not maybe not even the whole bank, but just the last round.
Yeah, like you lose the money from the last round. Like you go out the strongest link, you lose the money.
Or I was thinking half the money from the last round, so that way you still wouldn't lose everything.
Yeah, like you lose the money from.
Because otherwise, you go the strongest link off every time. You literally have 0.
You vote them off, so it's like.
Yeah, or if it's a close call, then it's like, well, then is it really fair? Like,
and then
I don't know.
And then with the alliances, so obviously once you execute your plan of the alliance, and then like you vote the first 4 people off. And caught them a few times, and she was like, and then she'd be like, to go to each person, and then be like, who'd you vote off in the first round? Who'd you vote off in the second round? Who'd you vote off in the third round? Who'd you vote off in the fourth round? And it would go down the line, and she'd be like to the audience, like, does it not seem weird that all 4 of these people have voted the same each round?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't actually like that she mentions previous round votes
yeah,
because I feel like it draws attention where there shouldn't be attention because it's
well,
I
I
don't.
mean, both times she did it, it was I think the alliance was like already voting off like it already voted off like the majority of the people like, but I understand where you're coming from, but you can continue. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's good to draw attention to that. I feel like that should be the contestants should just be more observant of that, and that should be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the home audience can just figure that out if they really care.
yeah,
It's generally very obvious. Like it's already something I'm generally noticing.
yeah.
If
It is all kind of influencing the game a little, which I can totally understand. You know,
yeah,
that's what's interviewing.
it's kind of like I've heard about Survivor. Contestants will go on and they pay attention to the questions that get asked in their like personal interviews by the
Uh huh.
producers. Because if it's like, oh, what do you think about this person? It's not someone they've really interacted with. That
Yeah,
likely means that person wants to vote them out.
yeah,
So then they start attacking that person in the game.
yeah.
And it would just kind of be the same. Like, it feels like it's just the drawing the attention, except it's just more obvious than that. I
Uh
don't
huh.
like it. I don't think it's good.
Okay.
If you're going to get backstabbed, you got to figure that out and do something
Yeah,
about it. Maybe if unless the contestants could talk to each other between rounds, that might be interesting.
yeah. I mean, I mean, you get to see everyone's vote, so you know who voted for you in the previous round, but you don't. You have to remember that like by memory, like.
Yeah.
And of course,
Maybe they could do like,
and you don't get like, and you don't get told like who's the weakest link and strongest link. That's only for the people at home. Like only we at home get to know. Like,
well,
like
they
who's the
generally
strongest.
say after the vote, statistically, this person is the strongest link. Statistically, this
Yeah.
person is the
So
weakest
when
link.
they're voting, like the announcer will be like, "This person is the strongest link. This person is the weakest link because he banked the least, and got all his questions wrong. But obviously, the
Actually,
players don't know that, but they have to infer who's the weakest link. And
I
sometimes
think
they
the
know,
guy
yeah.
who is the announcer for the British version,
I don't
I
remember.
think is the same guy who voiced one of the voices for Siri. I can't remember. It was someone like that. Wait, who voice? I think the name of the voice is Daniel. John Briggs, who also, uh, who was the voiceover for Weakest Link. Okay. John Briggs. Yeah. So John Briggs is the voice of British
Yeah.
Siri, male Siri, and also did that. It was just kind of funny. That was just yeah.
Do you like the music on Weakest Link? I guess.
Honestly, I'm not as huge a fan. I like the in between rounds music. Or like the
Yeah.
question, like the during the round music, sorry. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like
I like question
I feel
music.
like it's just yeah, the question music's good. I don't care as much for like the very harsh, like 4 beats, like the dun 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 dun. Can you please cut that part
Oh,
out?
like the 4B thing, like when they're voting, like
Yeah,
vote off the weakest link, like that thing, like
yeah. The when you do I don't like that.
da-da-da-da.
I feel it sounds too
There's a
harsh
thing
in the
too, and
show
I
for
think they
some
won't
reason.
use it in the UK, but they might use it in the US too. But it's like
They use
'cause
it, but
after the Walk of Shame, when the Walk of Shame is ending, and it might be part of that too, but I think it's a different. So when the Walk of Shame ends, they're like, it'll be like the lights come back or whatever, and it's really cool. But like the Walk of Shame ends, like the interview is over, and they cut back to the contestants, and it's like the lights go on, and then I don't know, that's better.
I just feel
Basically,
like it's too
it's like round 5. You have this much money in the bank,
we're
and
taking
that's
10
their shows
seconds
it.
off the time. We'll start with the
Yeah,
strongest link. The last
yeah,
round, that's you, whoever. Let's play the big thing.
yeah.
All the lines are the same every show.
I like the
The
lights show. I like the
rules,
lights
the
they do though.
activation of the
Lights are
game,
pretty good.
everything was exactly this. It was very uniform.
Yeah, I like the lights. I like the light show, and they do a lot. Well, not light show, but like I like how they have used the lights to really create a good atmosphere. I guess because I feel like
Yeah.
when I'm watching, I focus on the lights a lot, like when they're voting or when Anna's explaining something. It's a subtle detail.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
so I guess
Again, it's very much like the millionaire lighting where it's very dark and then the lights are very, very, very bright and focused.
hmm
So if you like the classic millionaire lighting, you'll like this. If you think it got way overused, well, this is just another example of it.
hmm Yeah. So I guess we could wrap up here.
Yeah,
How would you play the week's link, and then we can wrap up, and then we can close up.
I would. I don't care what people would think. Like people sometimes think the voting blocks are bad, but I would play a voting block 100%. In especially in the modern day, what I've noticed is a lot of times all of the women will vote for the men. So I would try to, when meeting all the contestants before the show, try to work with the men to vote out the women. Just because I feel like it's like it. I mean, it happens so often that you'll get to especially when the show has 8 contestants, it's almost always 4 men, 4 women.
Mhm.
There's so many examples of the revival version, where by the time you get down to 4, there's no men left.
Yeah.
So I would honestly just try it, because being a man,
Yeah.
I would just feel like I'm at a disadvantage with that. I would try to counter that in like the only easy way possible, which is just try to vote out the women.
Yeah.
Not that if it wasn't a game where it was like, oh, like the original, it didn't happen as much, I wouldn't have bothered. I would try to form a voting block, but wouldn't necessarily be on.
If you're gonna vote off the women, I think you need to I guess you would need to see who's weakest first, because if you vote off the strongest person first, it's gonna be more of a, it's gonna be more noticed. And if you vote off a person and they're not eliminated that round, what's gonna happen is they're gonna vote you off because you have voted for them and they recognize that, and they can use that as ammunition.
But then again, if you do it in the first round, what you do is you just say, okay, we'll just go in order. Say it's the 4 men are agreeing to work with us. You could just say, okay, whoever's in the first position gets voted off first. Whoever's in the second position gets voted off second. In terms of order of voting off a particular group like that. You can do that with any group, really. That's the thing. That's how, because I would play it based on that. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, I guess my strategy, to me, it's more about just trivia in general, but I would really just pick one person in the back and be like, okay, I'm not necessarily taking that person at the end, but I'm like, okay, we can agree to work together until like we would agree to not vote each other off until like a certain point, and then from there it would be
if I could get through with that, with like the voting off all the women, by the time we got down to 4, I would just vote out the strongest link both times.
Yeah.
Whoever I thought
me, I would pick one person who I knew was weaker than me, but I try to keep them around as long as possible, and then try to take that person to the final, and then where I could beat them in the final.
So I'm also not
number
good
one thing that I focus on is who you can beat in the final, and if you can keep yourself in the game, if you can choose another person and like keep both of you in the game, and then beat that person in the final, But you need them to think that they can beat you in the final. So, but it would be an alliance to make sure neither of us would be voted out.
Yeah, you have to make an alliance. I think it's kind of sort of like just like Survivors you're talking about. It's about alliances, and especially later in Survivor, if you have a generally a dominant contestant in the what are the challenges called in Survivor? There's a term for them. Well, whatever. The challenges in Survivor. You have one particular strong player in the challenges. You have to vote them off the moment they fail the challenge and don't win immunity.
Yeah. What I would say is, on this show, you don't want to be obvious. Because if it's too obvious, you did really bad, or if it's too obvious, you did really well. Like, you need to ride the line, like very.
Oh yeah, in terms of actually answering the question,
like actual trivia. Like you need to. Here's the thing: if you start off strong and get bad, they're gonna vote you off at the end. Not like final 4, final 5, like that's when they'll vote you off because you started that strong, but like it's not how you start till you finish. Because at the start, there's more people in the field, so it's okay to do bad at the beginning. But it's okay to do bad at the beginning. You just have to get better as the show goes on. And you have to get better when the questions get harder, which is a tough thing to do, but it is possible. Whereas if you start out strong on the easy questions and like really fumble your way, like people won't want to keep you until the end. I mean, people might, but like usually what happens is they keep a really weak person around, and like there'll be like multiple people in the interviews. So like this person hasn't done anything for like 3 rounds. Why haven't they been voted off yet? And it's like, and then it'll be all the strong people who like are really having like a terrible round. Like the biggest thing is you don't want to have a terrible round, and you don't want to have a great. At the end, you don't want to have like an amazing round. At the beginning, you don't want to have a terrible round, or like in the middle, you don't want to have a terrible round. It's okay to have a bad round at the beginning, but you generally want to stay in the middle. Yeah,
you need to. Yeah, you can't be the worst at the beginning. You can't be the best by the end.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to say it. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
That's a really good way to say it. So, is there anything else you want to cover? Or?
No, I think it's pretty much the whole show.
Yeah. Do you think Weakest Link can work in the future, or what would you change, or what would you, or is there anything? I guess just general game changes. Again, in general, you can change format. You can bring it back however you want. Like you have full control.
Okay, realistically, if I were a network executive, I would put a bunch of celebrity games on. That's really because again, no one really cares about normal people. as awful as it is. Like I don't think it's one of those game shows that only game show fans truly appreciate, and the only way to bring non-game show fans is to have celebrities on it.
Yeah.
There's certain ones where you don't have to be a game show. Like a non-game show fan might still watch, Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Price is Right, or even like Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? They might keep it on if it's on. I don't really like coming in the middle of a game of Weakest Link. You're not going to keep it on because you don't know
more
what
of a
it's going to be.
commitment. Because
yes,
because it's rapid fire trivia, and you're also like, it's like, well, it is an episodic game show, but like if you watch the beginning of the show and then you change the channel and then you come back 30 minutes later, obviously, like 5 people have been voted off. So
yeah, you like. Just like Survivor, you don't watch if you watch Survivor, you wouldn't start with you wouldn't just watch.
Yeah, you have to watch the entire show.
Yeah, it's just a mini season of it's just Trivia Survivor, and it's very small, where it's just one. Instead of Survivor, where you wouldn't start with episode 3, you wouldn't start after the first commercial break or like second commercial break after a couple people are gone. So that's why this is such a commitment in terms of watching the show.
Do you think the host is good right now? Jane Lynch? Yeah.
Yes. I
agree. Yeah.
She gets way too much hate from the...
It's a balance. It's a balancing act. Because if you're too mean, you're seen as like, kind of, not snobby, but like, you're kind of seen as like, I mean something.
Yeah.
But then if you're like too nice, you're like, I wish the host would just, say something.
It's very much preference, and all the game shows...
She balance it very well.
All the people who watch game shows who are like very like it has to be the way it was, who think only Ann can ever host that show, are just wrong. They're lying if they say Jane's not a good host. Jane's definitely a good host, maybe even better than Ann. It depends on taste, but to say she's not a good host is crazy.
Yeah, the point is to laugh at the contestants when they get insulted. The point is to like laugh for fun. It's not to like laugh because you're not supposed to laugh. I mean, you're not supposed to laugh at them, but you're supposed to more so laugh with them, or like laugh with the host, like haha, like they got wrong.
Yeah,
you're supposed to laugh with the host, not necessarily with not laugh at the contestant.
Yeah, take your pick. What's your preference? If
I like Jane more, but I think she needs a little bit of. I like Jane honestly. Like the thing with Anne is it gets old really quick. I feel like I like Anne a lot, but it gets old like really fast. Like
it does get dry,
rigid, but I feel like it's more like she's able to mix it up more. Anne is able to mix it up, but you only mix up like the same phrase like so many times. Like whereas Jane, she's more flexible. She's able to like mix different phrases or like you use new stuff, use new material. Whereas I feel like Anne sticks to the same material, but just changes like the flavor.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah,
that's a good description.
But yeah, you want to wrap it up? Yeah, you good?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I've got.
Okay.
Are you waiting for me?
No, I'm fine. I'm just.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if you're waiting for me. Do it myself.
Oh yeah. So that will do it for the weakest link, and neither of us got voted off today, but that's a good thing. But next time we will be going away from the weakest link, and instead of trying to be voted off, we will be trying to avoid whammies when we cover Press Your Luck and Whammy. And we will be sticking to the original versions. That does it for the Game Show Roundtable this week. Thank you for listening in. And Steven, anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Oh, okay. I'm not leaving. Okay. I'm not leaving. Okay.
Okay. Fair enough.